All right, level 4 is adding and subtracting rational expressions. So if we look at A and B first, then we'll move on to C and D second. I think it's just easier if we do a concrete example, something that we're used to, and then move on to something with variables like we did in level 3. So if you look at A, something that you did probably in junior high, subtracting fractions with or without common denominators. Yes, you can put these in your calculator, but if you know how to do them by hand, it will make the rational exponents a lot easier. So I've got this. Notice I've got 2 of the same denominators, which means I can just subtract the numerators. 5 minus 2 is 3, and then keeping the denominator the same, you get 3 over 7. Okay, looking down at B, when I don't have common denominators, I look at 3 and then I look at 6 and think about how I can get those numbers to be the same. So, meaning, how can I get 3 to become 6, or how can I get both of those numbers to another common factor, common multiple? So 3, I can easily get it to become 6 by multiplying it by 2, which means I need to multiply the top and the bottom by 2. And I'll leave the 5/6 alone because I don't need to change that denominator. So that first one becomes 4 over 6, and then I'll just bring down the 5 over 6. And then just adding those two numerators together will give me 9 over 6. And then just reducing that will become 3 over 2. Okay, so keeping in mind we have to have common denominators in order to subtract the numerators. So looking at B, or I guess this should be C, but do I have common denominators? 2x minus 3 in the first one and 2x minus 3 in the second one. Yes, I do. So I can just subtract the tops and keep the bottom. So I'm going to have 7x minus 2. I always put in parentheses because you will always forget to do this back part. You'll never put parentheses in the back, and you'll forget to distribute that negative when it comes time to. And then remember, just like the numbers, we keep the denominator the same. So when we subtract these, we want to keep the denominator the same of 2x minus 3. We don't want to subtract those again. Just subtracting the top. So like I was saying, you have to put that in parentheses because you will forget to distribute that negative, I promise. I don't want you to, but if you don't put in parentheses, chances are you're going to forget to distribute the negative. So now if I combine my like terms, I have 6x minus 9 over 2x minus 3. So I look at the top and I look at the bottom and see if I can simplify anything. The 6x minus 9, I have a common factor of 3 in both of those, so I'm going to see what happens if I take that out. And lo and behold, I do have a factor that I can eliminate. I have 2x minus 3 on the top, which is being multiplied to the 3, and then 2x minus 3 on the bottom. It's not being multiplied to anything but a 1, so that's why I can simplify these two. And you can cross those out, and that would just be a 3 over 1, or just 3. All right, looking ahead to D, I've got 4y over x plus 2x over y. So needing to get a common denominator, not as easy as B, where I could just multiply one fraction by something to get it to be a common denominator. I'm going to need to multiply both fractions to get a common denominator. So this is like if I had 2 over 3 plus 5 over 2. So I would have to multiply the first one by 2 over 2 to get a common denominator of 6, and this one by 3 over 3 to get a common denominator of 6 for that one. So very similar to that, if you think about it that way, you have to multiply the fractions by each other to get the common denominators. So I'm going to multiply this one by y over y, and this one by x over x. So then in this one, I'm going to have 4y squared over xy plus 2x squared over xy. So now that my denominators are the same, I can simplify this. I can add the tops together. 4y squared plus 2x squared over xy. So I can't simplify the top because, I can't combine the top because they're not like terms, but I can take out a greatest common factor of 2 and see if that will do anything. So I have a 2y squared plus x squared over xy. And since it didn't really do anything in terms of simplifying, I'm just going to leave it how it was in the very beginning. So if you can simplify or take out a greatest common factor and it will help you eliminate a factor in the denominator, go ahead and simplify it. But in this case, since it didn't help me, just go back to where you started simplifying from, and that can be your final answer.